Laws are meant to keep societies in order, ensuring fairness, safety, and structure. However, some laws are so outdated, bizarre, or nonsensical that they make us question whether they were ever truly needed. As society evolves, many laws have either been updated or entirely repealed, but some stubbornly remain on the books. In 2025, while we might expect progressive legal systems and well-thought-out regulations, there are still some insane laws that make absolutely no sense. Let's take a look at 10 such laws that will leave you scratching your head. 1. Let's start with an absolutely bizarre one. Did you know that in the UK, it is technically illegal to die in the Houses of Parliament? Now, before you start imagining secret police tracking down the elderly and sick to ensure they don't die in the corridors of power, let me explain. The law stems from an outdated statute passed centuries ago, which made it illegal for anyone to die on Parliament grounds, as it would complicate legal proceedings regarding inheritance and property. While this law is, of course, not actively enforced today, it is still technically on the books. So in theory, if you died within the walls of the UK Parliament, you could face legal issues. This makes no sense in the modern age, especially since Parliament has seen its fair share of historical events and government decisions. The law is considered a relic of the past, and with any luck, it will eventually be removed entirely. 2. Singapore is well known for its strict laws, but one of the most absurd is the ban on chewing gum, which was introduced in 1992. While chewing gum itself isn't illegal everywhere in Singapore, the import, sale, and use of gum in public places are banned, primarily to keep the streets clean. The government cited issues such as gum being stuck in public areas, including on subway trains, which could damage the infrastructure and be a headache for cleaning crews. Although the law has been softened somewhat to allow gum for medical purposes, like nicotine gum or for dental use, the overall restriction remains one of the more absurd laws in the world. The punishment for breaking the law can involve hefty fines or even jail time. While Singapore is one of the cleanest cities in the world, it's still hard to believe that chewing gum could lead to such extreme consequences. It's a reminder of how overzealous regulations can sometimes stretch logic. 3. Thailand is a country known for its incredible landscapes, cultural landmarks, and of course, its majestic elephants. However, in 1992, the Thai government passed a law requiring anyone who wishes to ride an elephant to have a special license. The law was introduced to protect elephants and ensure that only experienced handlers were allowed to ride them, as elephants are large, powerful animals that require special care and treatment. While the intent of the law is good, the idea that you need a license to simply ride an elephant seems ridiculous when applied to tourists who want to experience the thrill of riding such a massive creature. In essence, the law makes an activity that many people consider a fun and educational experience into something bureaucratic and inaccessible. You can still ride elephants in Thailand, but it requires going through proper channels, filling out paperwork, and paying fees, which strips the fun out of it. 4. In Switzerland, there is a law that restricts the use of toilets after 10 p.m. in apartment buildings. This regulation is based on an effort to prevent noise pollution and maintain peace for residents living in close quarters. While noise control is certainly an important part of communal living, banning something as natural as using the bathroom seems to take things too far. The law came into effect after residents in some apartments complained that the sound of toilets flushing at night disturbed their sleep. Though the law was meant to regulate noise from plumbing systems, it went so far as to suggest that people should avoid using the toilet late at night altogether. While most modern plumbing systems are designed to be as quiet as possible, this law assumes that everyone should plan their bathroom habits around the clock, which is clearly unreasonable. In Thailand, stepping on currency, either coins or bills, is illegal, and doing so could lead to fines or even jail time. Why? Because the Thai king's face appears on the country's money, and stepping on it is considered an act of disrespect toward the monarchy. The law is based on the deeply held belief in the sacredness and reverence for the king in Thai culture, which extends even to money bearing his image. While it's understandable to want to show respect for the monarchy, this law seems somewhat excessive, as it targets actions that most people would never associate with disrespect. This law is a great example of how cultural values can shape legal systems. sometimes in ways that may seem over the top to outsiders. So, the next time you're in Thailand, remember to tread lightly around your money, literally. 6. In some parts of Australia, it is illegal to keep a pet rabbit. This law was introduced to protect the environment, as rabbits were introduced to Australia in the 18th century and quickly became an invasive species. The rabbit's rapid reproduction rate and destructive feeding habits led them to devastate local ecosystems and threaten native species. While the ban was effective in controlling the rabbit population, it makes little sense in 2025 that a person cannot legally have a pet rabbit in certain states, especially when it's well known that people have successfully kept rabbits as pets for years. The law was made with good intentions to protect the environment, but it has since become overly restrictive and even unreasonable. Pet rabbits are now one of the most common household animals, and many see this law as outdated and an overreach of government control. 7. Greece has some of the most famous ancient sites in the world, including the Acropolis in Athens. However, a 2009 law makes it illegal for visitors to wear high heels while touring these historical sites. The reasoning behind the law is that high heels can damage the ancient stonework and cause irreversible harm to the monuments. While protecting cultural heritage is a noble cause, it's difficult to understand why high heels, of all things, should be specifically banned. Could a better solution not have been found to address this problem? Instead of banning a particular style of footwear, maybe better signage or educating visitors about the importance of preserving the site would have been more effective. The law came across as both absurd and overly controlling, especially considering the fact that many people find themselves visiting these sites in their most comfortable footwear. As much as texting has become an ingrained part of modern life, certain states in the U.S. have enacted laws prohibiting people from texting while walking, particularly in busy urban areas. The goal of these laws is to reduce accidents caused by distracted pedestrians who are too focused on their phones to notice oncoming traffic or obstacles in their path. While the intent behind these laws might be understandable, the implementation is wildly extreme. How far should the law go in regulating personal behavior, especially when it comes to something as everyday as texting? Should there be fines for texting while walking, or should society simply encourage more awareness on an individual level? Making such laws creates a fine line between public safety and personal freedoms, and many argue that it's an infringement on basic rights to prevent something as simple as texting while walking. In some parts of Italy, it's actually illegal to wear clothing that could be considered offensive to public decency. While the law isn't necessarily aimed at a specific group, it covers a wide range of clothing choices, from clothing with offensive slogans to skimpy outfits deemed inappropriate in public spaces. Though Italy is known for its high fashion standards, this law seems more restrictive than practical. This law is problematic because it can be subjective, leaving much up to interpretation. Who gets to decide what is offensive or inappropriate when it comes to fashion? Fashion is a form of personal expression, and having the state intervene in what people choose to wear could be seen as overstepping its bounds. The line between promoting public decency and stifling individual expression is thin, and this law blurs it in a way that feels unnecessary in modern society. 10. In 2017, Honolulu passed a law that made it illegal to use your phone while walking. The law was intended to reduce the number of pedestrian accidents caused by distracted walking. While this may sound like a reasonable safety measure at first glance, the law was met with skepticism and criticism. In 2025, it's clear that this law is an overreaction. Many people walk and use their phones without any issue, and there are more effective ways to address distracted walking, such as educating pedestrians or making roadways safer. Banning phone use while walking feels like an unnecessary restriction of personal freedom. It's hard to imagine a time when such a basic part of modern life could be regulated in this way. Laws are meant to protect citizens and maintain order, but some laws simply miss the mark. Whether it's regulating chewing gum, restricting dancing, or banning high heels, these bizarre laws show how outdated regulations can persist in an ever-changing world. In 2025, it's hard to justify some of these strange laws, especially as society continues to evolve and embrace more progressive values. It's a reminder that, even in the most modern and advanced societies, not all laws make sense.